All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Just the fact that you took the call to push play on this video means a lot to us. And it says a lot about, says a lot about who you are, that you were just open to this opportunity, and some of you don't even know what we're talking about. So thank you so much for your time already in advance. I am just going to go right into sharing a little bit about my story just briefly, because I want to introduce you to Christy and then to our special guest, our rock star mentor, Susan Sly. So to get started, I'm Val Solomon. I'm a single mom of 4 boys. I'm a teacher by trade, but I've actually only taught school 1 year. I was a military wife for 16 years, and you know how that goes. We moved all over, lived in Europe for a few years, and things like that. So I've been a stay-at-home mom of my 4 beautiful boys for a long time now. My oldest is 18 and my youngest is 7. And I've loved it. I've loved being completely available to them, pick them up from school every day and take them to soccer practice and that sort of thing. But one second, I want to put it in a different view. There we go. But throughout the years of, staying home with my kids, there was like a void, right? Like I needed to do something with my brain space. So I've always had little things, little projects going on. At one point I was a crafter, so I'd like sew stuff and sell it and, things like that. There was just always something, right? Just was never enough just to just do the kid thing. I was always looking for connection with other people and to use my brain in some way that was my own. So in 2009, I got back into fitness. I had been an athlete as a teenager, lifted weights, and I was a swimmer. But I kind of used the kids as an excuse not to do that for a chunk of my 20s. But I got back into fitness, and really the rest is history, because I think I probably joined the gym because they had childcare. And it gave me, that hour of freedom, right? But what I gained through that was not only just that hour, but my life. And it really changed the path of my life from that point forward. I found something I was good at. I found purpose because I was able to help other women do the same things that I was doing. I found friends. I met Christy in the gym, who you're going to meet here in just a minute. Tons of my friends I've met through fitness, either in person at the gym or online. And also I became an entrepreneur because of fitness. And one of Susan's phrases is an accidental entrepreneur because of fitness. Because I started sharing my journey on social media back when Facebook was kind of new, and my influence grew really quickly because of that. Facebook allowed my stuff on people's news feeds. And so I grew this huge following. And started to realize that I really needed to be smart about what I was recommending to people and how I was helping people. Like I needed to help people in only the best way. Only, I really wanted to recommend only products, protein bars and things like that I knew were going to be like the absolute healthiest for people, right? So fast forward a little bit, people, as my influence grew on social media, other people were starting to see my potential, right? Like here you have all these people, Val, maybe you should look at doing this or joining this company. And at that time I was kind of a network marketing snob. I was, was like, I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to use my influence to make money for other people. I remember saying that to maybe some of you that are on this call who've known me for that long. But about 4 years ago, one of the smartest people I know, Erica Willick, who some of you guys know, has been my partner in a lot of my different fitness business endeavors, said, Val, will you hop on the phone with me? I want to talk to you about an opportunity. And I'm like, oh no, Erica, how am I going to say no to Erica? Because Erica is an amazing business mind. She's been the CFO of a $1 billion company. And I mean, she's legit business mind in brick and mortar business as well as online stuff. So really respect her. And she had my best interest at heart from the start. And so she's the one who introduced me to Isogenics. And I said yes to her only because I knew, I trusted her, right? There's probably nobody else in the world that I would have said, because I told you I was in this kind of place, like a snobby place about alternative business to what I was used to. And so But I had that element of trust with Erica. I knew she had my best interest at heart. And so I said yes to taking a look. And I said yes because I trusted her, but also because I was looking for a really authentic, healthy way to help other people through the fitness things that I was doing already. So that kind of started my journey with this opportunity that we want to share with you with Isagenix. It has blessed me in so many ways. Not only am I still a stay-at-home single mom, I'm able to make a really great income, still pick my kids up from school every day, still, do whatever I want to do with them and can work around in the pockets of my time. But it's blessed the people that I get to work with, women like yourselves who either I help with nutrition or help do what I do in business. And my other business, the Busy Mom Gets Fit side of things that I do is it's just me by myself. Like, it's awesome and it's fun, but it's a little lonely, right? Like, the things that I do to get better at that or to work on that daily, it's just me. But with Isagenix, it's this whole team, and we travel together, we learn things together. We're on video chats like this all the time together, connecting. And so, it's just been that phone call with Erica, that willingness to be open to her and trust her was the best decision I've made in my life, and I get kind of emotional about it because I was not divorced when she introduced that to me. I had no idea what was in my future, right? But I wasn't going to share this, but so I kind of dabbled in Isagenix that first year. It was really just important to me to just share good stuff with people. It wasn't about money. But that second year, when I was going through the divorce, I was faced with going back to work as a teacher or busting my butt at this online stuff in Isagenix. And that second year, I made almost to the dollar amount what I would have made as a teacher, which is so that's a God thing, right? So anyway, with that, I want to introduce you to Christy Nix. She is my ride or die girlfriend. We met in Kentucky when my ex and I were stationed there, and her family was there. She was just this fit, cute girl in the gym, and it's like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? And the rest is history, right? Christy's a Army wife, mom of 3. You may know her as Fitnix on social media. She's amazing, good friend, of course, motivator and coach with a huge heart of service. So, Christy, why don't you unmute yourself?
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Yay. Hi. So, wow, thank you so much for sharing. That was amazing. I love hearing your story. And Susan, thank you so much for being here. I'm super stoked to hear what Susan has to say to all of us. So I'm going to try to keep mine short too. Like Val said, I'm an Army wife. I was an Army wife from the day that I said I do. So we've been married for almost 15 years. Active duty Army, we've moved 9 times in those 15 years. So our life is full of variety. But it led me to Val. So lots of blessings through that. We have 3 kids. Gracie is 12, Mary is 9, and TJ is 4. And we live in Savannah right now. We are stationed at Fort Stewart. So we have lots of fun down here. And I actually met Val, like she said, when we were together in Kentucky. She was my gym girl. We met at the gym. And we competed together. Actually, we had done a few figure competitions together, and we were both aspiring personal trainers as much as we could be as busy moms. And she was just that friend. You don't get many friends that get that part of your life. So her and I just got that about each other and formed this friendship. And actually 4 years ago, this month, she called me, and I didn't know anything about that conversation with Erica. I just knew that she was my girl, and she called me and she said, hey, I signed you up for this Isagenix thing. You're the first person I thought of, and I'm trying this protein, and I really, I want you to try it too. She knew the proteins that I had been using. Her and I had rotated through several different products. We were never loyal to any one thing. And so she sent it to me. And, I had no social media. I had no following. I had no entrepreneurial aspirations. Valerie has really helped contribute vision for my life that I didn't even see. But none of that was ever on my radar. And she sent me an email and she said, here's your login and your password to your back office. And I was like, what is a back office? But you know what? I was like, you sent me protein. Yes, I'll try protein. I love protein. You know, girls got to get her muscles on. And so when I logged in and I saw all these other products to include a weight loss system. And, you know, it was perfect timing because my son was 10 months old and I was in a 6-month plateau, which is super frustrating when you're a competitor and a trainer that knows that she knows that she knows everything that's out there. So I tried something I probably would have never tried and thought, you know, this will really be a good way to communicate to Val, you know, this product. I'm a great science project. So I did 60 days on the fat loss system and had incredible results. So we knew quickly that we'd found a great product. But that wasn't the issue as much as it was what was it about this company and what was it about this profession that we could latch onto. So we got a great product. We have women that look to us for advice. We knew we wanted to refer it, but we had a lot of work to do on our end. So we dug in. And I mean, we were looking for all the things to find wrong with it, honestly, and we just couldn't. The company was sound. It had tons of integrity. So then the profession, you know, the profession was nothing we saw us linking our brands or our passions with. You know, we were both passionate women and we stood on stage with the, you know, ultimate physique. So if we were going to refer something, we had to know that was good and the product was good. And so, I'm sorry, I got a little bit lost. My point to that was the profession of network marketing, you know, that was a big risk for us both personally at the time because we had seen it done in other ways that made us a bit uncomfortable. So we really dug in and did work on our parts with the profession, which come to find out, I feel like was literally made for me as a military spouse. All of you that are watching, I know you're shaking your heads, yes, because it travels everywhere. But the pivotal moment for me was in January of 2015. I went to my first event, you know, and heck yeah, the best part about this at the time for me was I found a good product I could tell my friends about, and I got to hang out with Val. So we went to Palm Springs. It was beautiful. And I had more confirmation that the product was amazing. I had more confirmation that the company was amazing. I had more confirmation that the profession in itself was totally something I could see myself doing. But I left with a fire in my belly to radically change my family's financial position. And I want you to know how big of a deal that is to me because I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. I had never contributed financially except for covering my competition costs because it is expensive to compete. And I felt like I needed to cover that. But I left and I told myself, I'm going to replace my husband's active duty Army salary before he retires. Okay. So he'll have a 20-year career, promotion after promotion. And here I was on ground zero saying that I was going to replace his income before he retired. And we are doing that. Valerie replaced her teacher salary without having to become a teacher. And I am filling in the gaps so that way when he retires, if he doesn't want to go back to work, he doesn't have to. I don't want him to. He's gone a lot. So I really needed that vision to understand that Isagenix was my vehicle to really change my financial path. I didn't know how I was going to do it. Thankfully, I linked arms with a smart woman like Val, who has enough vision for all of us, honestly, including myself. And thankfully, she saw something in me that shared it with me. You know, but I was starting from the very beginning, and I just knew if I did a little bit each day that my life would be very different. And it really, really is. That's been 3 years ago, and I can't even begin to share with you how different it is already and how different I know it's going to be. When that time comes where I can look back and say, not only did I replace his income, but I've passed it up. And he has no problem with that, thankfully. And so, you know, we are just as passionate now because we understand the opportunity that's there for you. You know, we were women who were doers. We had big burning fires in our hearts to serve people. We just didn't know at what capacity. And this has become the way that we have done that. And we're still doing all the mom things. We're not missing any mom minutes. I'm still very available to my husband when he's around because his schedule is so demanding. But we are changing our lives, and it is our passion to show you and share with you the opportunity that's on the table for you as well if you would just say yes to linking arms with us. So thank you for that, and we'll have some tips at the end on how to actually do that if you take us up. So thank you so much, Val.
Woohoo, that was powerful. Thank you. All right. So our special guest tonight is mine and Christy's mentor. And I talked to Susan earlier and I told her this, that I've told my team this so many times, that she is my girl crush. Like I'm like, I've never had a girl crush before, but Susan is like, and when I read these accolades, you will see why. She's an amazing person. She's a wife and mom of 5. She's the author of 7 books. She's a speaker. She's an entrepreneur of many businesses, not just network marketing and Isogenics with us, but she's owned a brick and mortar gym. She owns several online businesses that help coach other small business owners like myself. And she coaches people to be more organized and more productive through her companies. She's been a personal trainer and a yoga instructor and a nutritionist for 15 years before she started with Isogenics. And her Isogenics team she's created 33 millionaires and like over 100 6-figure earners. So it's amazing to have her on this call with us. So Susan, are you there and able to unmute?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much, Val and Christy, for having me. It's great to be here with all of you. And it's so fun to see kids in the background too. I will just tell you right now, my husband's out with our youngest one at her soccer. You might hear dogs, and one is a Chihuahua. It is very bossy and noisy. And my son, my daughter are here. So you just don't know. But I love that as moms and women, we can come together and carve out this time, because really and truly, I want everyone to think about this deeply. All time has an ROI, a return on investment. And some of the things we do as women, that ROI is negative. Anyone else besides me ever down a pint of Ben & Jerry's? Just hit a show of hands. Anyone but me. That is a negative ROI. It might feel good at the time, but later we feel bloated and disgusting. Some of the things we do have like a neutral ROI. Like we might read a magazine or something, and that is what it is. But when we can do something where we can be present. And, I want to acknowledge all of you, because only 10% of people ever read to the end of a book, stay to the end of a webinar. That if you can be present and learn something that could potentially be a positive ROI, like it was for Christy, like it is for Val, then, I want to acknowledge all of you, because again, our time is so precious. So if you've got kids and pets and whatever running around, we all do, and it's perfect. So again, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So Susan, I read all those accolades about you, and I know some people are just like, what? Because you've done so much. You've had an amazing career, but what makes you so relatable, because I know you and I've been on so many calls to hear your story, is your story, that you didn't just like wake up one day as this 7-figure earner. So can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Sure. I think, as women, we all have those moments which can either refine us or define us. And the choice ultimately is ours. And I know almost every woman who's on this Zoom tonight has had those moments in our lives, whether it's something as small as a breakup. Not that a breakup's not small, but that first person who hurts our heart, or something bigger like an assault or a trauma, or losing a business, or just when you're getting in your groove. And we have so many military families in our team that suddenly, oh, guess what? We're deployed, we're transferred, we're something. And it's in those moments, ladies, that we have that opportunity to say, you know what, this is going to refine us. And in the face of challenge, we can either give up or get better. And so for me, that big refining moment came back in 2000. As Val said, I owned a gym in Canada. I was on radio, television. I was a fitness competitor. I was a personal trainer to celebrities. I was a pro athlete, but something wasn't right. And how many of you have ever had that nagging feeling, and just go yes in the chat box, when something's not right? There's just something going on with you, that maybe you're not sleeping, your digestion's off. It's just a gut knowing that there's something not right in your world. And how many of you have had that? And thank you for all of those who are like, yes, yes, yes. How many of you have had that and you chose to ignore it? and just put it to the side, right? And that's what I did. So coming into 2000, I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't sleeping. I was exhausted. I was a professor of nutrition. I'd be writing on the chalkboard and I just dropped the chalk for no reason. I dropped my car keys. I started slurring my speech. I was getting vertigo. My husband was doing some interesting things and I just was like, no, I've got to be on TV today. I'm on radio today. I was just like going through my life because it was so busy. And in January, my doctor called me in and diagnosed me with progressive MS. And I want you to imagine a fishbowl full of fish. And that's what my brain looked like. It was just full of lesions. And 3 days later, I was researching things online and a chat log came up. And it was like, hey, baby. And it wasn't for me. And it was the chat log of my husband's, one of his many affairs. And so that happened in a 3-day period. And 16 weeks later, I went into my gym to teach a spinning class. There was a padlock on the door. We had been shut down for failure to pay taxes. I buried my head in the sand. I didn't take responsibility. And I found myself homeless as a single mom living on my brother-in-law's sofa. And how do you come back from that? Exhausted, MS, divorced, infidelity. I wrote in my book, The Have-It-All Woman, I was like, I had every scarlet letter. If you remember reading the book, The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, I had all of them. I had like D for divorced, S for single mom, asked for sick. And I literally got down on my knees and I said, God, if you'll show me the way, I will do the work. And how many of us as women inherently know that if we are on the right path, we will work day and night to achieve something, if we know, right? But I didn't say, I want a handout. I wasn't like, God, just fix this. I was like, show me the way. And I was tired. But it was really interesting, Val, because that summer, I took a job at Bally Total Fitness and Management because I had to put food on the table. I'm living in my little apartment as a single mom, and I'm thrust into this position as a sales manager. They're like, you used to own a gym, you could be a sales manager. I'm like, great, I can sell anything. 52 employees. I rose to #1 in the whole chain. So back in the late 90s, there were 444 clubs. I was #1 in the world. And that summer, I took on a client who would later introduce me to books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. Introducing me to the magic of asking the right questions and all these amazing authors and speakers. And the irony is, from Jack Canfield to Robert Kiyosaki to Mark Victor Hansen, the list is endless. Even Tony Robbins, all of the people she introduced me to, and it changed my life. I've shared the stage with each and every one of them. So I really believe, and if you take nothing away from this, when that path is presented to us, no matter what is going on in our life, because girls, there's always something freaking going on in our lives. So like there is, some days it's just a pimple. I'm 45. I still get them the odd time. Some days our child is sick. Some days we're not feeling good. Some days, our spouse says something to us in a harsh way. There is always something going on. But I promise you, when you find something that puts you on that path, you can do it day in, day out, all day. And that's what happened to me. And that's really the journey that changed my life. And I'm so excited to be here. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but my bottom line message is whatever it is you're going through, you've got to focus on what you're going to. I heard Joel Osteen say that once. If we're in misery, we don't like build a house there. We pitch a tent and we move on, right? So it's my hope that whatever everyone's going through, that they're going to leave here with some inspiration, being bold, like Christy and Val and Jen Holly. It's great to see you, Levy, and just making change in their lives.
The awesome story. Thank you, Susan. Did you want me to share? Did you want to share your screen so you can do your slides?
I absolutely would love to. And hopefully that story resonated with some of you. You do not need to see this picture. That's me, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, you already have it. Oh, good.
I'm gonna be super brief. Because again, I know we all have that ROI in our time. One of the things, I'm a certified NLP coach and trainer, and in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is what Tony Robbins is trained in, I'm trained in. And one of the things that we teach our clients is that unless you shift your neurology, you will never shift your life. And what that means is you have to shift your perspective in order to get a different outcome. If you agree with that, say yes in the chat box right now. You agree with that. So if you shift your perspective, you shift your outcome. So maybe Val had a perspective of single moms until she became one. And then suddenly she was like, single moms are badasses because, you know, she's got 4 boys. I mean, hello. Maybe when Christy was little, she, you know, clung to this idea that a family lived in the same house for 25 years. And now moving 9 times in 15 years, she has a different perspective. And that woman is a trooper, and, you know, and she's courageous and she's strong. So when we shift our perspective, write this down, please, we shift our life. And so the first way we shift our perspective is really what we see in the mirror. And my question for you is, when you looked in the mirror this morning, what did you see? What did you see? You know, yes, you saw yourself, but did you see an empowered, badass woman? Or did you see someone who you were like, oh, you're getting older. What's wrong with you? No one likes you. You're an idiot. I thought you'd be further along by now. You have a muffin top. You know, you have thighs that 5 pairs of Spanx can't fix. I don't know what you said, but as a trainer, I'll share with you, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. Of those thoughts, 80% of them are negative, and 80% of those thoughts are the same thoughts we thought the day before. So if we're looking in the mirror like, my thighs are fat, you probably thought that the day before. My thighs are fat, my thighs are fat, my thighs are fat. If you are with me, say yes right now if you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, okay, what's wrong? Do I need some Botox? Do I need to inject something? Do I need to do something? You know, whatever, what's wrong? And that's how the average woman thinks. So I actually prepared some stats for all of you. So in America, 78.6, almost 80% of women are dissatisfied with their career advancement prospects. We are still living in a glass ceiling world. So of the C-suite people in America, I believe the number, and don't quote me on this one, but I believe it's still over 65 to 70% of all C-suiters are men. Okay, so almost 80% of us are dissatisfied with our career trajectory. And part of that reason is because there is still this glass ceiling. 65.7% of women are dissatisfied with their wage prospects. And if you look at this, that in 2017, men earned a median average of $49,192, while women earned $39,988. So we're still almost 20 freaking percent less than men. And I love men, and I have a son, and I think men are amazing. I was raised by a single dad. But in what world is it okay if we have the same education, the same guts, the same focus, that we should earn 80% of what a man earns? And raising our daughters in an era of this. And here's the thing, with what Christy is talking about, with what Val is talking about, there's one career arena where this isn't the case, and that's actually network marketing and direct sales. And in fact, women, and I'm about to leave for a conference called The Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing, where we will showcase, to speak on that stage, you have to earn over $1 million a year in network marketing. In that arena, women, it doesn't matter if we're black, we're white, or like me, a little mocha. It doesn't matter what our education is, or if we're single moms or military wives or whatever we are. We can earn what we decide we are worth. And that's what I love about it. Now, on the health side, 91% of us are so dissatisfied with our bodies that we resort to dieting. Like 91%. So your girlfriends, if you look around at them, chances are they're dissatisfied with their money and they're dissatisfied with their bodies. And that's where this comes in. And this is one of my favorite things to say. And my friend Dr. Tony O'Donnell first said this to me, which is that a toxic body leads to a toxic mind, leads to toxic thoughts, which leads to toxic actions. Okay. So this whole world we're living in, where we're not making the same amount of money, where we're dissatisfied, where we're not happy with our bodies, a lot of that can be traced back to the toxins that start themselves in the bodies. And you may be saying, oh my gosh, Susan, are you serious? Like you're telling me that when I'm looking in the mirror and I'm dissatisfied and I'm tired and I'm feeling lethargic and I, can't seem to lose extra pounds and inches and I don't feel good about myself, it leads back to toxicity. here's the thing. I'm going to be bold and tell you, because I worked in nutrition and health for years and taught nutrition at the college level. Check this out. American President's Council on Cancer, 80,000 chemicals on the market in the United States, many of which are used by Americans every single day, and 80,000. So when these toxins come into our body, they are literally changing us at the genetic and cellular level. So what happens is we wind up with brain fog. Then we feel apathetic and lethargic. Then we go to our doctor and it's Prozac and it's Zoloft and it's then it's Lunesta. I don't even know all the drugs because I don't take them. But my point being is, what if you could get the toxins out of your body and begin to cleanse your body, improve your energy, and sleep better and look in the mirror and feel better about yourself? And what if you did that and start to feel really good and people started to notice, and you could be like Christy and you could be like Val and you could be like me and start to change your future? Would that be empowering? Yes or no? It would be empowering, right? And you may be saying, Susan, you've written 7 books and blah, blah, blah. This was me. I was very toxic. I was in a toxic relationship with an abusive alcoholic. I picked an abusive alcoholic and went straight to a cheater. I mean, I picked him well, because I didn't love myself. Only a woman who doesn't value herself would choose a man to reinforce how little she values herself. Okay. So that was me. And I was 19 years old. I weighed 200 pounds. I was wearing a men's size, I think 40, 42 jeans in this picture. That's Cleo the cat. I'm holding her up to cover my fat rolls. And I was toxic. I was toxic in my life. I was toxic in my body. And I went on, I started to lose weight, and then I became a pro athlete, but my body was always inflamed. I had a hard time. I was in North America. I was one of the top 5 duathletes in North America. I represent Canada in Germany, racing and doing all this stuff. But there was always something that wasn't right. I was pushing myself through training. I was pushing myself as a mom. I was pushing. Who can relate? Some days you're pushing yourself through your life. If you can relate to that, say yes. Right? It's just like, oh, you wake up and it's like, oh, it's like a struggle, right? And that was me, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then so finally, after I lost everything in the story, I ran into this boy that I had loved in high school at the gym, and we ended up getting married, and I already had my little sweet daughter and expanding our family, but we really shrunk our dreams. I was really sick. He went along with it. We moved from the city to a small town. We bought this house. It was infested with black mold. There were mushrooms growing out of the bathroom, and not any mushrooms I could sell for money, but like it was bad. And I just got sicker and sicker and sicker. And when I got the call about isogenics, I just wasn't open. As I said, I was so toxic, I'd become angry. And I know some of you, just by virtue of numbers, I know some of you aren't sleeping at night. I know some of you are disappointed with your lives. And I know some of you are angry about your lives. And that was me. And, how did I express that anger? I didn't take it out on my family. I took it out on myself. I drank a pot of coffee a day. I ate little Halloween chocolate bars. It wasn't Halloween. I looked at myself in the mirror. I beat myself up. I know some of you do this. And that's what I was doing. But, thankfully, when I made the decision to cleanse my body, it cleansed my life, because it wasn't, girls, just about getting rid of toxins in my body. As I cleansed those toxins out, I cleansed a lot of toxic emotions out. And, to fast forward time, it was a bold decision that created a really amazing life. And the things we get to do, my sweet son on your right, he's on the autism spectrum. He goes to a special school. It costs $28,000 a year, but they have everything there. They have the OT. They have amazing support. He has a 4.0 GPA. For the first time in our lives, we're told he's going to go to university. My beautiful daughter on the left, she is gifted. She's a student at ASU right now. She has a 4.0 GPA as well. The littlest girls go to one of the top private schools in the whole country. It's top 50 prep school. Last year, I paid $250,000 in tuitions alone, and asked me how much of that I had to take out in loans. That would be none. right? Because I made that decision. When I cleansed my body, I cleansed my life, I started a new future for myself, and I created everything I have today. The house we live in, it's like the Destiny's Child song, I bought it, right? The cars we drive, I bought them. I brought my husband home. I pay for the kids to go to school. And that was all because of my decision to do this cleanse. And so, my other thing is my body. This is me on the right after giving birth. This is me before. And I'm still a work in process, but I think, dang, I'm 45 years old. I have so much future out in front of me. And I never use the word old to describe myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just getting started. I feel so empowered. And this is really what changed my mirror was isogenics. So I'm just going to share with you a little bit quickly, and then I'll turn it back to Christy and Val. I do want you to know isogenics doesn't diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. So I just want to be very specific about that. The vision of the company is to free people from physical and financial pain. And how many of you would love a career where you wake up in the morning and you're like, I get to free people from physical and financial pain? I was talking to this gal today, her name's Kim, and she's about to do her first marathon. And she was like, Susan, I'm going to qualify for Boston in my first marathon. She's like, thanks to isogenics, I've been on it a month. I'm running. My youngest one is, I have a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-year-old. God love her. And she's like, I'm running so fast. I'm running faster than I'm supposed to be. I know I'm going to qualify for Boston. I love it. And that's what I get to do every day. Our company is led by these amazing people. To your left is John Anderson. He was the reason I joined isogenics. He formulated products like Metarex. He worked with Joe Weider back in the 70s and 80s to formulate the first protein powders. His background is sports nutrition. I used his products when I was a pro athlete. Jim and Kathy Coover on your far right, they started isogenics with this vision. Kathy was a dental hygienist. She was the top income earner in 3 separate companies. And she was like, I want to create a company where I can help more women become 6- and 7-figure earners than any other company in the world. And their son, Eric, who's really grown up in the company, helps them as well and is one of the senior vice presidents. But imagine a company for women where that's the vision. And Kathy will be on the phone. She's like, Susan, we're going to have more women who are 6- and 7-figure earners. And that's exactly what we're doing. In fact, to be in the top 10 in isogenics where I am, you have to make at least around $1.8 to $2 million a year. I mean, think about it, girls. It's crazy. So let's talk about the health strategy. So isogenics is backed by science. There are clinical studies. You can read about these on isogenicshealth.net. So this isn't a fly-by-night. The products actually work in clinical studies. Our participants lose more body fat. They gain more muscle. They're stronger. They have better recovery. We have a no compromise promise, money back guarantee. We believe in transformation. In fact, so much so that we have an IsaBody challenge where you can transform your body and win money to do it. The value pack, which is what people generally get started with, it replaces over 100 meals. It has your whole cleansing system to help you get those toxins out of your body, a full selection of snacks, this amazing blender. It even has 2 sharing coupons. So much like Costco, you have a membership that when you join with this pack, you get 2 of those, and you can have 2 friends who get their membership for free, which is awesome. And I want to talk about, as I mentioned, the IsaBody challenge. This is Jim King. He's in our team. He's 65 years old, and he was our runner-up. So I'm so proud of Jim. And suggested strategies. So our value pack is about $20 a day delivered to your door. As I said, it comes with a money back guarantee. And the average American spends about $7 a meal. So if you go 7 times 3 is 21. 21 times 30 is over 600. So it's right in line with that. So you're going to take money from your grocery budget and put it into your cleansing and badass, feel like amazing budget. Now, if you're like, Susan, that's a little too pricey for me, we do have a 30-day system. It is very stripped down, but it does have your fundamental cleanse for only $269. So lastly, I'm going to talk about this. You might be saying, this sounds really good, but how does it work? So how it works is this. So you have three possibilities. One, use the products and give the referrals to the person who introduced you. Two, for a select number of people, we are happy to mentor you and teach you how to get your products paid for. Or three, earn enough money to really change your family's definition of freedom. And my vision is to help more people say yes to the things they previously had to say no to. So when you start with Isagenix, we're not asking you to bring in 50 people, if that's great if you do, but initially we want you to start with 2 and help those 2 get their 2. And with our value pack, that's going to give you over $400 in upfront bonuses. And then by helping those 2 also share with 2, you're going to be up to $650. And then as you're starting to build this, there are thousands of dollars in upfront bonuses. I'm not going to go into all of them, but I do want to say in this program, we're just building 2 teams, a left team and a right team. And we actually get remunerated every time people order. So I want you to think about this because, again, I want to be respectful of your time. The business isn't for everyone, but if you've stayed here to this point, I want to acknowledge you because anyone who's jumped off, chances are they're saying, you know what, that isn't for me. But the next time they look in the mirror and they can't afford to pay their kids' tuition, or they can't afford to put their son in hockey camp, or can't afford to do something, pay a medical bill, I hope they'll circle back with Val and Christy if they have time to mentor them. I don't know. But the thing I want you to get is this: building 2 sales teams that, you know, as you start to do this, one the left, one the right, one left, one right, and you start to get paid on all this synergy and volume, that Christy and Val are in my team, like my big team. And no matter what, when they start to do well, that really impacts me positively too. And that's the power of this. Unlike a job where you're climbing the corporate ladder and it's you against everyone else, the only way you win in this is to help everyone else. And if you love to help people, this is the only business for you. So we have 3 options. I just did a little bit of the comp plan. I'm not getting into all of it. You can ask Christy and Val. 3 options. Number 1 is earn enough to pay for your products, or number 2 is pay your bills. I want you to think about a bill that drives you nuts. Maybe it's a student loan you still have, maybe it's medical bills, mortgage, whatever it is. Pay those bills with your commissions. Get the tax write-offs. In this new tax strategy in America, oh my gosh, it pays you to have your own business. Or number 3 is to start dreaming, right? Like the ladies have. What are those dreams that you haven't lived into? For me in the beginning, I just wanted to send my daughter to private school and go to Disney. Those were the big dreams that I had. As we started to do that, it was like bring my husband home, bring myself home from my job. Then it grew and it grew and it grew. And today, if I look back on the last 15 years with Isagenix, whether it's taking my family to Bali to renew my wedding vows, or being able to serve in Africa and Cambodia and go in Cambodia and rescue kids from brothels, literally, or all the things that I've had the privilege to do, it all comes back to a decision to do Isagenix. So I want to finish and keep it simple. So number 1, everyone, the products are for you. Let's get you healthy, get the toxins out of your body. Number 2, people are going to start to notice. Number 3, you have the option to begin to share Isagenix, plug it into. Number 4, training and support. Number 5 is begin to transform your future. So with that, if this isn't for you, here's what I invite you to do. The next time you look in the mirror, and maybe it's tomorrow morning or maybe it's tonight, and there's something you don't like that you see, would you at least get back with Christy or Val, have a 10-minute conversation, get your questions answered, explore the possibilities, because girls, life is much too short to go day in and day out not loving every single thing you see. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to you, Christy and Val. It's an honor to be here.
Hey guys, thank you so much, Susan. That was amazing. Val, did you have anything you needed to add after that?
No, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Susan. It was amazing.
Yes, it was amazing. And so thank you for those of you that stayed on. We do appreciate that you listened. And you might be wondering, okay, what's next? You're a number 4 or number 5 on the chart that Susan just showed. And, you know, we have to start now. You know, Val and I will only have the time to help a few people. So we need you to message us. I think Val's going to post our we have call links, so you can schedule a call. So we're going to take on the first 10 people that message us and say they're ready to be coached. They're ready to learn the products. They're ready to learn the business. They want to think bigger for themselves. So make sure you do that tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. I know some of you have kids that you still have to put to bed, and get on our appointment books so that we can get on the phone with you. Like Susan said, it's like a 10-minute phone call, and we'll see if this is something that we can link arms together with, and get you guys cleansing your life, cleansing your body, and cleansing your future.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Susan. I'm going to send out an email. Again, the links are in the chat to schedule a call with us, if you can see that there. But I'll send an email with the recording and those links again. So we look forward to chatting with you guys.
Thank you, guys.